Well, the altcoin market has made some crazy moves over the last couple days, with some altcoins seeing more volatility in the last 48 hours than they have seen in the last 6 months. And so, in today's video, as a result of all of this chaos, I wanted to make a quick update going over exactly what I'm seeing on the altcoin market right now, some of the good things, some of the bad things, and what I'm doing as a result of all of this. And so, without further ado, I'm not going to waste your time at all. Let's go ahead and let's get into it. So, what we can see is that the altcoin market's been in a pretty good spot over the last couple days. I mean, even the last week, basically the entire top 1,000 is up on average. You got the top 100 looking good with things like STRK, File, ICP, FET, WLFAI, and many more really putting in some sizable gains. Now, sure, there are some that aren't performing super well, like Tau, SPX, and Dash, for example. But again, the majority of your altcoin market is looking pretty good here over the last week on the top 100. Same thing applies with the top 200, the top 3 to 400. I mean, it's pretty consistent. That's such a crazy logo, but it's a pretty consistent thing here across the altcoin market. Now, as a result of this, people are actually feeling pretty dang good right now. Matter of fact, if I do actually head over to the Fear and Greed Index, what we can see is that the Fear and Greed Index, although still in fear, it did push up pretty sizably just over the course of 24 hours, pushing up like 10 points as people become optimistic that some sort of altcoin season could still be a possibility here in the future. And although I do align with some of the sentiment, and I do think we are getting some good signs here from the altcoin market right now, I'm not willing to go as far to say that this is anything other than general recovery, and we still have a lot of room to work. Now, some of the good signs that I am seeing here in the market are actually really good though. For example, if we look at Ethereum's price, what we can see is that Ethereum did a fantastic job at recovering back into that descending channel that it had previously attempted to break out of. You see how we had been in this descending structure since August of 2025, faking out of it here, but maintaining it for the most part up until November 3rd, which is when we broke out of it. Well, that's not a good thing. And whenever a massive crypto like Ethereum especially breaks to the downside of a structure that it's not supposed to, you have to take notice of that. You have to be like, ooh, okay, that's not super great. That is a little bit concerning. Let's pay attention to this, right? But Ethereum did a fantastic job. It came back down to this macro zone of support. It almost hit our liquidity zone. I plotted this as our liquidity bounce zone. We didn't quite hit it. We got very close, but ETH has done a great job, and it has tried to recover back into this descending structure, accomplishing that recovery just yesterday. And so all in all, that is a very good sign. Now, not only did Ethereum recover very well after breaking out of this descending channel, so did Solana. Look at what Solana's price did. Solana's price has been in this descending parallel channel for quite some time, but it came back down, found some support, and maintained it. It tried to break out of this channel 3 times, actually, before holding some support and then using it to push back up towards the top side of this channel. Now, listen, there is still a lot of room to work, and, Solana needs to be able to make this move upwards, but all in all, this is a very good sign. Now, it's not only just individual cryptos. As a matter of fact, if we look at Bitcoin dominance as a whole, Bitcoin dominance has been breaking down for the most part. What you can see here is that Bitcoin dominance had actually been following a very clear uptrend for quite some time. And over just the last 72 hours, Bitcoin dominance broke through that trend. Now, does that mean that it's going to continue lower? No, definitely not. But it is just a sign that in the moment right now, altcoins are regaining a little bit of room. They're regaining a little bit of traction. And if they can continue gaining this traction, that's a very good thing. And so the fact that we're seeing things like Ethereum recover and Solana recover, matter of fact, we actually saw XRP bounce heavily off of a support zone, which is a good sign. We saw BNB bounce heavily off of a support zone, which is a good sign. We're seeing some really good signs here from the altcoin market, but I want to make it clear that that's all this is right now. Although this feels great, all we've gotten as of now are good signs, good general relief and general recovery, but this does not guarantee quite yet that the altcoin market's about to rally and that we're about to absolutely push to the upside, because there is still things that need to happen. There is still, work that needs to get done by this altcoin market if we are truly going to see altcoins really regain a lot of momentum. Because matter of fact, if we just go back out to the top 100, for example, and we go back out to the month, although some are doing decent, most altcoins are not doing great. The top 10 on the last month is not doing great. BNB, Solana, ADA, ENA, FLR, Doge, they're all still down. And I need you guys to remember that, is that although this feels great and this feels great, the month not looking super fantastic yet. And so there is still work that needs to get done. Now you may be wondering, well, Tyler, what is that work that needs to get done? What needs to happen here? Well, truth be told, guys, although you may not want to hear it, we still need to see Bitcoin's price really being able to recover. What we can see is that Bitcoin is still in this descending structure. Although, yes, Bitcoin has made it back up to $104,000, it's still not gaining a lot of traction quite yet. There are still some things that are kind of spooking the market a little bit. And so understand this, if Bitcoin's price nukes back below 97K, day, this whole altcoin market's coming down with it, whether you like it or not. And so Bitcoin needs to be able to work its way up, break out of this descending channel, get back above 108, maybe even work back up to 116, right? Bitcoin still needs to do some work. Bitcoin still needs to be able to break out and get into this macro structure back up here. And that translates to, very well to Ethereum. For example, Ethereum can't start pulling back down here, guys, because listen, if ETH starts pulling back down here, this whole structure is canceled. All of this bullishness that we're pulling from this recovery pattern would be gone. And then we have to start looking for a macro expansion pattern, which looks something like this, which pulls us into a much, much bigger swing to the upside and swing to the downside. Now we got a much bigger structure to worry about. Same thing with Solana. Solana's price starts pulling back down here, guys. We might be looking at 130, 140. So yeah, although Solana looks good right now that it is holding support, and this is a good sign, it doesn't for sure mean that we're about to absolutely run, because while Solana's in here and while Solana's still close to 150, Solana can still nuke to $130 or below very fast. Matter of fact, if you go look at the liquidation map, there is even reason to believe that that is a possibility that could happen. For example, we go look at Ethereum on the 7-day, this thing isn't looking too hot to me. That's sketchy, right? Look what happens if ETH price pulled back all the way down to say $3,000. We got $4 billion worth of liquidations, guys. Very minimal to the upside. You start to compare that to say XRP, same thing there. Solana's price, same thing there. Now, am I saying for sure that Solana and XRP and ETH are about to make these big capitulations back down? Oh, no, I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying that there is still a risk there, and there's a lot of risk with the altcoin market right now. And so just because we've seen the market looking good over the last couple of days doesn't mean you should get too big for your britches and start getting too excited and start betting a whole lot of money that this market's going to pull upwards. Matter of fact, what you should do is still be waiting. Sit back, wait, and watch. Or take a little bit of profit on green days, buy a little bit on red days, right? So you can make small moves or no moves. That's still the best thing to do right now, because Ethereum's price still needs to show that it's going to be able to maintain the structure. Right now, ETH's price is pulling back down. So guess what? It's coming back down to test this bottom side, and we need to see if it's going to be able to hold. Solana's going to do the same thing. XRP is going to do the same thing. BNB is going to do the same thing. All these altcoins still have a lot of proving to do. And I guess maybe that's the point I'm trying to make. They're still trying to prove themselves right now. So don't get too ahead of yourself. So yes, it does feel good that the market's done decent. And yes, it does feel good that Bitcoin's trying to recover. But no, it does not mean that we are for sure in the clear, because there is still a lot of work that needs to get done here with the Bitcoin price, and translates, of course, very well to the altcoin price, especially while we have all of these liquidations piling up below us on Bitcoin, on Ethereum, on Solana, and many more. So I'll be here updating you every step of the way, but my game plan remains the same. Sit back, do nothing. The last time I purchased was on November 4th. Today is November 10th. I haven't purchased in 6 days, guys. And the last thing I bought was Bitcoin at $99,000 and ETH at $3,100. So I'm still sitting on some gains from that. I'm just going to let this puppy ride, okay? And we'll see what happens. If Bitcoin's price pulls back, of course I'll dollar cost average. If it pumps, of course I'll take some profits. We'll go from there when the time comes. But for now, sitting on these purchases, letting this bad boy ride, and we'll see what happens. And I will let you guys know that if you do want to see whenever I make my next move, when I do my next buy, when I do my next sell, if you also want access to workshops, classes, coaching, live streams, so much extra stuff, feel free to check out the school. I always have it linked down below. As a matter of fact, one person who uses the code NOV10, like November 10th, at checkout, I'm going to give you 20% off today. So feel free to check out the link down below. I mean, the results speak for themselves. This gets updated every single day, and you can see the gains are absolutely insane. Even today, guys, on a day like today where the market's not even looking that good, look at this. I guarantee it. I haven't even opened it yet today, but you see it. Look. Just over the last 24 hours, look at the gains. Look at what people are printing. I mean, it speaks for itself, right? So check out the link down below. And if you are actually trading like those people, matter of fact, there's the $1,500 giveaway that we are doing with BTCC. I'll link that down below as well. It ends on November 15th, where some of you are going to get some really good perks in addition to getting up to $10,000 in bonuses and rewards. So there's a lot down in the link in the description down below. So go check out the school. Go check out BTCC. Let me know what you think, and I'll keep you updated as this all does play out. I'll see you on the next one. See you, everybody.